Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. Here's today's question. Rakesh, I am a parent working in a reputed multinational. My son has just finished his engineering degree in computers, and he and his friends have started a company on automobile design. He had a wonderful opportunity to work in an MNC, but he rejected that. I also suggested him that he could do an MBA, but he seems to be quite fixed on his startup and his dream. What do I do? Um, I'm a father as well, and this question I can understand because we love our children. So when we see our children taking decisions which can give us a big fear or a scare, our reaction is to protect us. And it's normal. I mean, we love our children. Why would we want our child to be in a harm's way? But I think this is where, as a father, I grew up and became a very different person. And I request you to do the same. And I'll explain this concept using a very nice movie, which is called Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is this beautiful children's movie about a small fish, a clownfish, and his son. And the son is kind of taken away by divers to Australia, Sydney. And the journey is about this father maddeningly floating around the ocean to find his son because he had promised his son that he is going to help him and protect him. And it's a beautiful movie. And there's this scene in that movie where this clownfish, his name is Marlin, he meets this turtles. And the turtles have their own little group, and there are children. And he meets another fish called Dory. And Marlin is very surprised to see this turtle, and his name is Crush. The way he deals with his son is very different than Marlin treating his son. Marlin would protect his son, overprotective, would never let him go out because Marlin had seen a terrible, devastating event in his life when a shark fish attacked his family and only Nemo was left. So he comes from that background that I have seen harm coming to my family. So I'm going to protect my family and I will always be there for them. Crush, the turtle, on the other hand, is very chilled out. And his little baby, his name is Squirt, is floating and at one point of time is almost thrown out of the drift that they are in. And Marlin is super panicked. He's like, God, we have to go and help him. But Squirt is like, Crush is like, let's wait for Squirt to figure out what to do. And they wait for few seconds and Squirt, that little turtle, finds a way to come back. And that's the key message I want you to focus on, that we parents always look at our children as this little bundle, always has to be protected, always has to be fed. But I think this bundle has grown up. Your bundle is now an engineer and has started a company. So you can't treat him like a small child who needs to be spoon fed and protected. And that's what Finding Nemo teaches us, that there is a time we as parents need to know when to give up being a parent and become a friend and a supporter for our children. And that is my request to you. You know, I also understand one more dilemma that we parents face, that many of us are very afraid that if we don't do enough for our children, एक दिन वो आके हमको बोलेगा कि you spoiled my life, you should have guided me properly. So we tend to become advisors, career counselors for our children because we have the world wisdom. And we do that because we love them, plus we are very afraid कि कहीं मुझे आके blame नहीं करे. And many parents are very horrified for that day. But let me tell you the truth. No matter what you do, your child will come and blame you. Just like how I blame my parents. This is part of growing up. So get used to it. Number two, many of you parents who feel that your children are your trophies, please stop doing that. This is a big problem for many teenagers and youngsters because they work with me. Many of them come and tell us that, Uncle and Sir, please tell my parents to back off. I'm not a trophy for them. I can't come first all the time. I can't get the best job. I can't go to the best college. I want to live my life. And it's a very fair expectation. They have been brought up in a certain way. I know that you have given them the best opportunity to study hard, do the best, so that their lives are better. This is like that Three Idiots scene where Farhan, who's the character played by Madhavan, he loves photography, but his father is so hell bent कि मेरा बेटा engineer बनेगा. In fact, the movie starts with that. And there's a scene where Amir Khan and Farhan and the other guy, Sharman Joshi, Madhavan Sharman Joshi, Amir Khan, go to his house. And it's a hilarious scene where Parikshit Sahni, who plays this quintessential Indian middle class dad, says कि हमने उस कमरे में AC लगाया because we could afford only one AC and we gave it to our son. And 1 year he did not focus on his studies and his marks dropped from 93% to 92%. Some funny dialogue. I think this is the problem we parents have, that we are overprotecting them, which is not required. We are giving them this bubble for because of our own fears and our own needs to treat them as trophies so that we could boast about them in our social circles. But it is very, very devastating to your child. If your child does not get your support, they lose their self-esteem and their self-confidence, because for a child the father and the mother are the first decision supporters. And if you are going to say no and put doubt in them कि क्या कर रहा है, क्या रखा है ऑटोमोबाइल डिजाइन में, इंजीनियर कर, एमबीए कर, they start doubting themselves. And you want the best for them, but this is not the way to do the best for them. You are actually devastating their future lives. So here are my 2-3 suggestions for all of you parents out there. Step number 1, or request number 1, please do the one job that you parents, including me, are supposed to do. Our only job is to love our children unconditionally. There is nobody in the world who will do this. The schools will beat them up. The offices will beat them up. Everybody will beat them up. The only place where they will get a meaningful, unconditional love is the home and the parents. So please love them unconditionally. Second, please support their decisions. It's very important. If you say that, my son, you've started a startup, good job, I'll support you. That one sentence will boost the self-confidence and self-confidence. And maybe your son does a great job in his life. And number 3, please stop treating your children as your trophies. They are not your trophies. Treat them like adults now. I know that when you look at your child, you still see the same cute little boy or girl and you want to hug them, you want to protect them, but it is impossible to protect them. I think what we need to do is give them the wings to fly, and they will fly. And the world is very brutal. There are eagles and bad people out there, winds. So they will go through that. That's the training program. They will go through and they will figure it out. Just like how you figured out your life, they'll figure out their life. So on that note, please support your son who has a startup. Be proud of him. Go and tell him, I'm proud of you, son. Let him do design or whatever he wants to do. Let him enjoy. He will figure out his destinations and you support him. You love him. All you parents, you have a very important job, which is you have to love your children unconditionally. Nothing else. Please don't become program managers and project managers of your children's career. Outsource it to someone else or let the child decide what they want to do, because if the child knows that my parents support me no matter what, that is the foundation of the confidence and self-esteem that they need so that they can deal with the world. Stay safe.